Ever found yourself wondering just how much you can actually put into your Lloyds Bank account? It's a question that pops up more often than you might think, whether you've just received a windfall, are planning a big savings push, or are simply curious about the limits. The short answer, and you probably won't be surprised to hear this, is that it's not quite as straightforward as a single, magic number. Lloyds Bank, like most financial institutions, doesn't typically impose a strict upper limit on the total amount of money you can hold across your accounts. So, in theory, if you had an astronomical sum, Lloyds wouldn't necessarily turn you away simply because you've hit some arbitrary ceiling. However, the practicalities of depositing large sums and the various checks and balances in place mean the answer becomes a bit more nuanced. Let's break down some of the key factors that come into play. One of the first things to consider is the method of deposit. If you're walking into a branch with a suitcase full of cash, things will likely proceed differently than if you're making a bank transfer from another account. For cash deposits, especially large ones, Lloyds Bank has a legal obligation to conduct thorough anti-money laundering checks. This means they'll need to understand the source of the funds and may ask for documentation to support your explanation. Be prepared to answer questions and potentially provide evidence. This isn't about making things difficult, it's a crucial part of ensuring the financial system isn't used for illegal activities. When it comes to electronic transfers, the limits are often more about the sending institution's restrictions rather than Lloyd's direct limitations. However, for very large incoming transfers, Lloyds might still perform security checks and could potentially contact you to verify the transaction, again, as part of their security protocols. Another aspect to consider is the type of account you hold. While there isn't usually a total balance limit, certain accounts might have restrictions on the amount you can deposit within a specific time frame, or on the maximum balance that earns interest. For instance, some savings accounts might have an annual deposit limit to encourage regular saving within a certain range. It's always worth checking the terms and conditions of your specific account to understand any such limitations. Furthermore, large deposits might trigger additional scrutiny from the bank. This isn't necessarily a cause for alarm, but it's part of their responsibility to monitor transactions and identify any unusual activity. They might reach out to you to confirm the legitimacy of the deposit. Cooperation and providing the requested information promptly will help ensure a smooth process. So, while there isn't a simple "you can deposit exactly X amount" answer, the key takeaway is that for most everyday banking needs, you're unlikely to encounter a hard limit on the total amount you can hold with Lloyds. However, be mindful of the processes involved with large deposits, particularly cash, and be prepared for potential checks and questions. Always refer to the specific terms and conditions of your account for any deposit-related limitations. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.